I'm Aaron Boettcher. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing with Emerson, and specifically within Emerson, the Energy and Transportation Solutions business. Big question. I think decarbonization in the energy industry is definitely a journey that we're all on. And I think there's a lot of ambitious objectives right now being driven by government and ourselves to decarbonize. And I think it's something that we all have to work on together. I think there's many different approaches that are being taken, and I think that companies like Emerson or oil and gas producers and transporters are all at different stages of that journey. But I think the main thing it means to me is that it is a journey and that we have to partner and work together if we're going to be successful at it. It depends on where you look, but I would say we're still in the early phases of that journey. As I have a chance to talk to various executives in the industry, what I see is that there still is a lot of low-hanging fruit, to use that expression, out there. Although a lot of companies have addressed easy to address things in their operations, like remedying easy sources of emission by replacing old mechanical valves or seals or things like that will release methane. So a lot of that is being done from a mechanical structural perspective. I think the frontier that we're entering now around decarbonization is going to be technology driven. And I talked a lot about that at the conference this week, about how the application of technology around the digital twin and around artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to take the industry to the next phase of decarbonization. It's a complex regulatory environment, I would say, that tends to vary from country to country, or even where I'm from in the US, state to state. So I think that I would like to see governments work more together to provide a more consistent framework and direction about where things are going. I do think that oil and gas companies, these investments are hugely capital intensive. And so if there's uncertainty about the financial picture, or if the investment is going to return an ROI, then it creates uncertainty and an unwillingness to, in some cases, to make those investments. And I think we've seen the industry is kind of trying to figure it out right now. So I think the more certainty that can be provided around the regulatory environment, but also how we can encourage industry to make money and make a return on their investment by creating markets for new sources of energy, for carbon, that still needs to mature. What we see is, we call it like a circular economy of clean energy production, primarily with hydrogen and utilized with carbon capture and storage. As we look at how much energy is needed in the coming years, I think the combination of hydrogen and carbon capture and storage has to go together. So we have to deliver more energy, but we have to do it cleaner. I also think that we need natural gas as a bridging fuel. I think, getting back to your earlier question about what would help the industry, I do think that in some areas there's a lot of focus on trying to reduce natural gas consumption. I don't think that's helpful right now, because there's a lot of areas of the world where coal is still a major part of the energy mix. There's parts of the developing world where people are still burning wood for cooking fuel. And so I think that governments should take a more holistic view of the transition with natural gas as a bridging fuel. Getting back to the earlier question, but from a technology perspective, I do think it's clean hydrogen production with carbon capture and storage is ultimately where we're going to go. I think it can be a combination of factors. I do think the regulatory environment can help. It can also hurt companies to make investments, so we have to do that the right way. I also think the willingness to make change needs to be there, and change comes in multiple aspects. We've seen oil and gas companies start diversifying their portfolio, selling off assets, buying other assets that are going to bring them to new business. I think the other aspect of change that I think about is just from a technology picture. I think that we will not get to the ambitious net zero targets that are laid out unless the industry fundamentally changes their approach to digital and adopting of new technologies in automation systems. I think there's a lot of aging automation systems out there, a lot of assets that are under-automated. So I think the application of software and digital technologies is really what's going to take it to the next level and help the industry get there.